Gauteng's Social Development Department says it's worried about the spate of murders of women and children. It plans to host an inaugural memorial lecture in honor of the late Karabo Mokoena next week. Mokwena's killer has been sentenced to 32 years behind bars. For more on this, we are joined by Nonhlanhla Skosana from Sonke Gender Justice. Nonhlanhla, thank you so much for coming through. I suppose this is a difficult conversation. I mean, it's an issue that we all should be tackling and confronting on a daily basis. But let's start with the initiative that the Gauteng Department of Social Development is suggesting, to have an annual lecture in honor of someone like Karabo Mokoena. Do these annual lectures help in any way?
Thank you very much, Tulasi, and afternoon to the viewers. I think it is important to note that it is critical for us to have a political buy-in. And we just appreciate the fact that the MEC has taken this issue very seriously. But we know that in South Africa, we have the 16 days of activism against the abuse of women and children. And the minister then, Minister Shabang, has launched the 365 days. So meaning that every day in South Africa, we are really concerned about the issue of gender-based violence. So it is important to have these lectures, but at the very same time, we need to commit ourselves to say, let it be not the lectures and events that will make us to be aware of what is happening on a day-to-day basis in our country. As we know that in South Africa, every 8 hours, a woman is being killed by her partner. So this is a serious issue. We need to take action as communities. We need behavior change amongst young men and men in our community. And
I suppose you take me to my next point. I mean, there's been much talk about how we need to have the conversation more with men, and particularly young men as they grow, about the importance of standing up against gender-based violence. But what practically do we need to do, Nonhlanhla? I mean, we do this diagnosis almost every year, especially around the 16 days of activism.
I think we need to have platforms where we engage with men in our community regarding these issues, but at the very same time, we need to have men who are not perpetrators to hold those who are perpetrators accountable. But also, we need to, as I'm saying, we need issues around behavior change. It is so bad to know that 80% of children who are under the age of 4, they are abused by their own relatives. So meaning that we have challenges in our own homes, in our own spaces where we think children need or women need to be safe. So we need men in families to start respecting women. We need to have relationships that are healthy and very equal in our families, where women are seen as human beings. As I've said in one of the interviews, that what is critical for us when we talk about these issues, to also go back and look at our patriarchal society and the kind of social norms that are harmful to women, but also, the manner in which we engage with one another. When we can start to talk around issues of gender equality and understand what gender equality is all about, it is critical, because you find most men are keen to talk about prevention of gender-based violence, but they are not keen to talk around issues of gender equality. So it's an issue of power. So we need to be able to, to engage around those issues and challenge our cultural norms and religious norms that we have that are really perpetrating gender-based violence.
Just give me your sense as Sonke Gender Justice on what the other issue that the MEC Nandimaya Atula-Khoza and her department are tackling, the case of baby M, and the conviction of the mother in that particular case, and what they are now going for in terms of trying to make sure that the alleged rapist is brought to book. How important has this case been in sort of moving us forward in terms of protection of children?
It is very important that, as I've said, initially, that we've got around 80% of children who are under the age of 4 who are being sexually violated by their own relatives. So for the MEC to take a stand against that, it's important, but also we need to be very careful that we let our justice system to really do their job, and we make sure that we create an environment where that is possible. It is important for us that the perpetrator be held accountable that has raped baby M. And we understand that legally the mother was obliged or is still obliged to really say who has raped baby M in this bad way. A child who is 2 months old, a child that cannot really say anything, she can't talk for herself. So as an elderly person, whether you are the mother or an aunt or a brother or a sister, if you are aware that that child has been sexually violated, it is our responsibility to really report those cases and make sure that whatever that is needed to get the perpetrators, it is done. We can't protect perpetrators.
And in terms of the criminal justice system, are you happy with the level at which things stand at the moment in terms of prioritizing sexual offenses and the abuse of women in society and sort of pursuing those cases? I mean, as we speak right now, there's reportedly another case, for instance, that has reportedly been opened against, a former deputy minister in our country.
There is a bit of change, but it's not satisfactory because as Sonke, we're still getting calls of families of victims of femicide. And those families are reporting to us that they are not treated well by our officials, including the SAPS. So there is still a lot of work to be done. We still need to see change amongst our officials because it is very sad to hear that a member of a family would hear that the perpetrator has got a bail and they were not aware of that, whereas the investigating officer is supposed to be communicating to family members. You have lost your loved one, but at the very same time, the system is not treating you well. So it's important that, we still need to monitor all those levels of government that needs to bring justice to victims of gender-based violence and sexual violence.